All right, so I'm a stupid dog, and we haven't made very many posts lately because we haven't had. Our life has been running. It's been in the groove. It's been running the course. It's been sort of mundane. One too much to talk about, but now we got something to talk about. And let me tell you something. Like, and they used to say up in Pennsylvania, we live here in Western Kentucky, but we spent some time up in the tri-state area of Pennsylvania. We predominantly lived in PA, but the tri-state area of PA, New Jersey, New York. So in PA, they would say, this situation I'm about to relate to you, that it takes the cake. In PA said it takes the cake. Over just across the river in New York, they would say, this is shit for the birds, except for they would say, this is shit for the boys. They would say birds, instead of saying birds, they would say boys. And sometimes they would say, think what you're wise. And you'd say, think what you're wise. What do you mean by that? I don't even know what. And then they would slap you. Over in New Jersey, they say, what are you going to do? When if someone's really screwed up, they would say, what are you going to do? Or they would say, what am I? What am I over here? But anyways, when someone's really screwed up, well, this is really screwed up because I believe, I might be wrong, the man has started to do telehealth, mental health situation, but I'm convinced he's getting catfished by his mental health provider because he's never laid eyes on this woman, and this woman looks, you look at her online in this picture. This looks like something like they're trying to lure half-witted has-been mokes, to cheat them out of their inheritance or something. They're super hot women, but you're really talking to some Indian guy in South Africa or something. This seems like it's a scam. The man's doing mental health. I'm like, why don't you go to her office? Her office is in town. And the man's like, dog, she just moved into a new office. She didn't get all her furniture in there yet. And I was like, the man, what are you, stupid? And then he says, dog, she got all her furniture in there, but they got termites. Her office has termites. They're waiting for the exterminator to come over and, get rid of all the termites. I said, the man, you're getting catfished. How much you paying for this? Somehow, so far, he's only paying his $20 a visit copay. A visit. He sits on the couch. He talks into his phone. I think the main thing, he just wants somebody to talk to. He's lonely or he just needs a shoulder to cry on. But I believe this girl, she's setting up. You look at her picture on the internets, she is a stone-cold fox, a beautiful brunette. She looks like she's 27, 28 years old. She's got this beautiful Florida tan, big pouty lips, and she's showing a lot of cleavage, a lot of tan, gorgeous, voluptuous cleavage. In her photo, to lure in idiots and imbeciles to go to her telehealth situation. She keeps telling the man, you're going to come to the office pretty soon, but not yet, because it's a week by week. He just keeps calling her up and they talk about crap. She says another thing, like she's going to test him. She says, you sound like a little bit bipolar. I think I'm going to give you a test. At the next week, we're going to set up a test. He's like, I don't know if I should do a bipolar test. I might, I don't want to find out I got the bipolar. And she's like, we're going to do a test. Then the next week comes and goes. They just chit-chat. They talk about this, that, the other thing. She kind of flatters him a little bit. They never do the test. I'm like, the man, you are getting catfished. And then the man's like, the dog, you don't even know what the hell you're talking about. I feel a little bit more, what do you say, healthy. Anyways, it's about the whole thing. Anyways, this is just the first take about the man getting catfished by his mental health telehealth provider. But stay tuned, this is going someplace. I feel like this has really got some legs, as we say in whatever.